Greetings, and welcome to the first lesson for the month and the first one on astral travel. I am Russ Hatfield, who is joined by my twin soul Karra, who you can see behind my shoulder. She is a higher dimensional member of Ashtar Command and is stationed on Hades base. This lesson was channeled by Mark Cracker in 1995 and is called Mark's Going Solid in Astral Form. One of the reasons we even have an archive of channeling sessions is Mark's ability to go solid on the higher dimension after getting to the base in his astral form. Because of that, he could be a full-time father to his children there as well as work as an air controller for the pilots on the base. In this lesson, Karra and I discuss the method he uses to go from his astral form into solid form. You can follow our online transcript at the link below at our homepage, centerforascension.org. Please subscribe if you want at the end of this video to be alerted to future channeling sessions, editorials from Karra and myself, and lessons from the Center for Ascension. And now, Mark's Going Solid in Astral Form.
I have a question for you, darling.
Yes.
This relates back to what Treebeard and I were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If you and I are both molecules that have agreed to come together as a body, then our molecules shouldn't that be something that when I use my astral ability, is I'm just taking part of my molecules and taking them up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what Mark does is to reassemble them up there once he gets there.
And he collects more as he arrives.
Right, because he needs extra. So what is actually going up there? What part of his molecules are actually traveling to Hades base?
Just his consciousness.
How many molecules does that take?
You want it in a specific number?
No, I'm just kind of curious as if there is a specific number, or if there's a amount.
If you were to measure it, it would probably weigh maybe about 16 to 20 ounces.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. But it takes up a very little space, or it can be spread out.
Interesting. Okay.
Actually, that... Hear me through on the thought process for a second. Okay. If Mark travels up here and is in his normal form, but he's just in the consciousness, then that would be very dispersed. But if he compacted it, this may be a lesson for him too. If he compacts it to a very tight pin size, then
Less energy is used.
Less energy is used, and it attracts more matter and molecules.
Sort of like a black hole kind of thing.
But in miniature.
I see.
So as it spreads, as it collects more matter together and molecules, it grows to his full 170 pounds.
So in other words, he could actually...
That's how he does it.
And he could propel that faster if he's compacting it smaller.
I think that's how he does it, is makes a solid jump. He compacts it and creates a small little gravity well, which sucks in matter and energy.
I see what you mean. So in other words, when he can take molecules that are just dust laying on the floor, and all of a sudden you have this clean spot on the floor and a full mark.
Yes, I'd have to watch that.
That'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does the consciousness know enough to be able to reassemble itself? And because it's just a basic cloning process.
Mm-hmm. And it's Mark.
Yeah. So Mark knows. So actually, because it's at 18 to 20 grams of molecules,
Mm-hmm.
they all know the original. If you can only use two, you can have just one. Well, a bit more.
No, you need the consciousness. One would not make up consciousness.
So it's a group consciousness.
No,
Now,
so-
what about the molecules he pulls in from up there? Do they suddenly become part of that group consciousness?
They become under the control of that group consciousness.
Oh, I see. And when he leaves, what happens to him?
They return back to their original state.
So all of a sudden, somebody's got to go out and clean the dust up after he leaves.
Well, if the molecules are floating around all over the place. For example, there is a big chunk of molecules.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, molecules are everywhere.
That's right, because air is made of molecules.
Mm-hmm. So when they're all pulled, when he pulls them all together, he creates himself in duplicate.
So when I go there, I'm more spread out and dispersed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what would happen if I try to compress myself down to a pin size?
You may create that gravitational well, but you've got to remember that when Mark first did it, what almost happened?
He almost died. Well, he's got almost thrashed.
Mm-hmm. And he was even then a very experienced astral traveler.
That's right. Still, I can take it down to a less compact size.
Mm-hmm.
More compact size.
Which you have done in the past.
Which I have done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the key, though. That's what I'm not doing now, is I'm not compressing it down enough.
Mm-hmm. Let's say we reduce it by 3/4.
Okay.
And let the matter fill in the rest. Either you will be a quarter your normal height, or
well, our kids would sure have a good time with that.
somebody their own size to play with. Even a little shorter than that.
A little shorter than that, actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The cubs may have a time to play with you.
Okay, I see. Yeah, take it down to the quarter size. Now, would that possibly, though, attract other molecules just because I am getting smaller?
Yeah. Hopefully.
Right. Maybe something just to practice without astral traveling, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just use mental amount to compress my consciousness just sitting around.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
That would explain why he doesn't have the nicks, cuts and scratches, because he's not cloning himself totally.
Right.
But down there he has the cuts and scratches and nicks and cuts that he normally has.